Usually when we speak of yoga, we speak of what we're doing to connect with Krishna. But this chapter is entitled The Yoga of the Supreme because it explains to us what Krishna is doing to connect to us. And what's incredible is that this material energy, which is giving most of us so much frustration and anger and resentment, and we're all trying to figure out how we can control it somehow or other to bring it under our will so that we can be happy. The whole frustrating situation of this material energy has actually been designed by Krishna to inspire us to come back to Him. Krishna describes at the beginning of this 15th chapter that the material energy is like an upside down banyan tree. And if you've ever even seen a right side up banyan tree, you know that a banyan tree is a very confusing looking tree because its branches and its roots all look like the same thing. And it's very hard to see which root and which trunk and which branch started the tree and which one branched out from the other and where it begins and where it ends. The banyan tree looks like a maze of a tree anyway. And then Krishna describes in this material world is like a banyan tree upside down, so even more confusing. And that whole confusing situation, Krishna has designed Himself to bring the soul to a place of frustration where we finally recognize that trying to understand the banyan tree isn't going to work. So then what to do? What is there to understand and how to approach it? Krishna gives that indication also here in chapter 15. He says, from the Veda, he says, Vedaischa sarver aham eva vedyo, Vedanta krit vedavit eva chaham. From the Vedas, I am to be known. The Vedas are the revealed spiritual scriptures coming out of India that describe the dynamic between the body and the soul, how the soul and the material energy are both origined from Krishna. And when the soul recognizes that the influence of the material energy can be relieved by taking shelter and serving Krishna, then he can overcome all of those lower natures and be reestablished in his original position. And so the Vedas give a handbook for everyone, no matter where they're coming from in the material energy, to be able to take steps on their way back to Krishna. Imagine all of your friends are going to a dinner party. You're all going to end up at the same spot at night, but when you put that address into the GPS is going to tell you different directions based on where each of you are coming from individually, so you can end up at that same spot. And so the Vedas are a very dynamic spiritual presentation which recognizes that all souls in the particular material energy have particular circumstances that they're going to have to overcome. For women, for men, for the old, for the young, for the rich, for the poor, their perception of the material energy is going to be slightly different. And so for the soul to be able to move through those different perceptions and come to the ultimate place of understanding, the process will look a little different. And so the Vedas give this entire spectrum of different ways to approach Krishna with that ultimate destination of his devotional service in mind. And Krishna concludes the chapter by saying, someone who recognizes this, that it is ultimately that relationship with Krishna that is the perfection of life, this is the person who has understood the secret of all secrets. This is the person who's guaranteed success in all their endeavors.